So our next question is, there's a parent who's asking, uh, was it something that I did during the pregnancy that caused this? As in, are there things that she did during, her time while pregnant and everything that caused her kid to have a learning disability?
I feel she's better placed to answer
Yes.
that.
Okay, so the causes researchers found, following research, researchers found that there's different causes of learning disabilities. When we talk of learning disabilities, these will include dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, which we'll talk about in depth in future. But then researchers found that there's many causes to these learning disabilities, and most of them usually genetic. When I say genetic, I mean that learning disabilities can run in families.
It can be inherited.
Inherited in families. So if my grandpa had dyslexia, then
There's
a high chance that, yes. And when you look at the ratio of boys to girls, more boys than girls are dyslexic, or have learning disabilities, okay? And there's some environmental factors that can increase the risks of your child having a learning disability, which mostly includes substance abuse when the brain is forming, so that is the first and second trimester. So substance abuse, I mean alcohol, smoking, so taking just good care of yourself, even it's a whole it's a whole dynamic. Maternal health care and all that really impacts on the quality of your child's learning outcomes. So it's good for I think it's supposed to be like a multidisciplinary team that actually advises people and parents and young mothers and fathers on best practice.
I think in adults, there's something not mentioned. There's trauma, physical or psychological trauma. It could interfere with that part of the brain that processes all these things.
Because when you said in adults, I have a friend all through primary, high school, whatnot, she didn't know she had dyslexia. But now, one time we're having lunch and she gets to pay for her bill, and then she's doing it via M-Pesa. So when she's putting in the M-Pesa pin, the M-Pesa whatever till number, she misses the numbers, so she interchanges them. Instead of writing 67, she writes 76. So now I noticed it, and I asked her, so how long has this been going on? And now she starts explaining it to me for how long she's been having it and whatnot. And then she's like, for me growing up, no one told me I had dyslexia. I just thought I was dumb or slow or So it's true, like it takes like a whole disciplinary whatever. Because I feel like if someone intervened at an early age, she would have been able to
learn how
to manage it, learn how to control it and whatnot.
Yes.
And like you said, so the answer to this is yes. During pregnancies, if you abuse drugs and whatnot, it can lead to this. Right?
Yes. Okay. And so many other developmental disorders, not just the learning disorders.
Yes, like true.
Yes.
Especially during the first and the second trimester, because that's when the kid is growing, developing and everything. Third trimester is already formed and everything. Okay, so our next question is, I think most of our questions are from parents. This one is asking, will my child grow out of it? Like, is it something that you can grow out of?
That's a good question. So I don't think a learning disorder is something you can outgrow per se. That would not be the words I would use, because it's not like a piece of clothing.
Yes, I'm sure.
But with assessment, proper assessment and early intervention, as I advocate for, we can put in place a treatment plan, and start assisting the person with the disability to learn how to manage it better, and teach them different skills and different, concepts that make the difficulties that they have easier. Like I would say, for a child, let me give an example. For a child who confuses a B for boy and D for dog, I would use a simple analogy like think of your belly and a diaper. So B for belly, because they know that this sound stands for like, a name, B for ball, B for boy, B for belly. So where is your belly? Use an analogy that fits. Your belly is at the front. So when you're writing, you write it facing the front. D for dog, D for diaper. So where is the diaper? At the back. So try to make it very child friendly, and yes, if you use such, and we can find concepts that work for all these things that our kids struggle with when they're reading, when they're writing, when they're spelling. And with these techniques, then when they practice using them for long enough, enough practice makes perfect. Then they can get to a level where their reading skills, their writing skills, their spelling skills, their math skills are at par with their peers, or even better. These are kids with very good IQ, we've learned, like the learning disorders don't really affect your IQ.
True. That doesn't mean that you're less intelligent or you're done.
So in addition, I'm very sensitive when it comes to words. So when someone says get through, get over, outgrow, a tiny red flag just goes off in my mind, because when a child is told mbona hauachi hii tabia, mbona huachi kufanya hii kitu, mbona hautii bidii, it lowers their self-esteem.
True. And then the kid starts questioning themselves.
Like they become so frustrated, and then they get overwhelmed. So ukikuwa overwhelmed, obviously, in most cases when kids are overwhelmed, they freeze. In most cases, I don't know, in my observation anyway, they freeze because they don't have time to actually think and say, by the way, this is just my parent saying, ama this is just the teacher saying. As an adult, at least you can make that distinction, but for a kid inakuwa just too much. Such that now they start believing, by the way, I'm always dumb.
I can't do this.
I am always dumb. I will never get good grades. I will never understand this. I'm a slow learner. Self-condemnation.
Like you said, this applies to adults as well. Just think of us, imagine you are working in an organization as maybe the customer care person, and your immediate supervisor or boss is always telling you, oh goodness, I like how you handle clients, you talk to clients very well, your customer service skills are on point. You will perfect that skill more.
True.
You understand? So, and just imagine the contrary. If your supervisor was
Kept
saying,
you
you don't know how to handle clients, I don't like how you're doing this, you're not good at this, leave somebody else to do it, you'll actually might end up quitting the job. So the same thing with your child. Be there to reinforce and encourage the good behavior. If you want a certain outcome, the behavior that you want is what you praise, is what you encourage more. And then the disability or the difficulty is what you
Okay, one question. So let's say that a teacher is aware of these issues. Are they better placed to teach a parent, or the other way around, to teach a parent about how to support the child? Or or should it be the other way around?
The other way around in terms of
the parent teaching the teacher how to.
I think it's a multidisciplinary thing where all of us should be involved, like the parent, because the parent knows their kids best. If you're a involved parent, you know your child best. But then yes, the teacher who is actually doing the teaching in the school then can pinpoint the exact areas. As a parent, you might have a broad idea, like my child struggles with reading, but you don't know exactly what do they struggle with. So you give your view, the teacher gives their view. If you need to involve another specialist, then they give their own view, and at the end of it all, it's for the best of this child's learning. Abilities.
No, I've asked because I've observed it from an international school point of view, whereby a teacher will make a note and then they'll report it on the form, the cards, the booklets that kids go home with, and then a parent will come in to school, then they'll both discuss and then decide what to do. In this case, I've witnessed a speech therapy issue, and the kid improved in what, in 2-3 months?
Yes. Like when all of us are in agreement, then yes. So the parent also needs to have the acceptance that my child has this kind of difficulty, and these are the people who God has provided for me, to actually help me with my child. So get in touch with the teacher if you need a speech therapist to assist in any way, and then you work as a team. Yeah, because maybe if there is practice that you've given, you need to practice. Make sure you're following up on your child. The teacher is also following up in school and giving those extra practices, yeah, and always checking up on the kid, yeah. So I think we all need to be
like
yeah,
an
in
all
this together.
inclusive
Yeah.
thing. I'd like
If
to
the parent
emphasize,
is in denial and the teacher is saying yes, we need to do this, then I think it doesn't really help.
And the child is the one who suffers.
Yeah, the child
True,
suffers.
true.
If the parent is saying we need to do this and the teacher is not committed enough to help, then the child still suffers. So all of us need to be knit
Also,
together.
in addition to what she's saying, I'd like to emphasize on the point that the parent needs to accept whatever situation the kid is in. The parent needs to accept that yes, my kid has learning disabilities, and what can I, as a parent, do moving forward to address it and to help my kid get better, manage it and whatnot. Because I feel like if the parent doesn't accept it, most parents don't like hearing that their kid has issues. They like calling it abnormal.
Yes.
My kid has, they don't, so the parent won't want to hear that ati mtoi wangu akona issue fulani ama nini. So kama ni kwenda shule, atenda shule kama everyone else. I won't give in any special care and whatnot. So that, like you said, the kid ends up
which
suffering.
reminds me this thing ya comparison. Why unauliza mtoto mbona ma friends wako wanapata A na unapatanga
exactly. And when we started, she explained to us that our brains are different. Hata venye tumekitia hapa sahi, the way you understand some things is not the same way I'll understand those things. We are all different. So me comparing you to someone else's kid is very traumatizing.
Yeah, like
to
they
the
say,
kid.
our systems, they force all of us to be the same, yeah? Like you go to school, you're all taught the same way. But like you can't teach a monkey, an elephant, and a fish
the same
way.
Exactly,
Yeah?
because you get the point. Yeah, true. Because like
I
she
borrowed
said,
that from you, so
yes,
you can say it.
yes, like I always say, everyone has ustadi wake. Like everyone is perfect in their own way, right? You can't teach a monkey to swim. You can't teach a fish to climb a tree, right? So you need to get to their level.
Yes.
This one is good at
This
this.
is a fish, so let me teach them how to swim.
Yes,
Yeah,
you get the point.
This is a monkey. Let me teach them how to climb a tree.
Faster and better. But everyone is perfect in their own ways.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Whatever you're perfect in, I can't be perfect in it. Right. In that, if you're supposed to do a project together, you need to bring in your strengths, and my strengths. Right. That way. Another thing I wanted to ask is, we've spoken a lot about caregivers, teachers and whatnot. Now let's talk about the kid. Are you supposed to tell the kid you have this issue? Like you tell a kid you're not able to understand this better because you have maybe dyslexia and what? Are you supposed to inform the kid what they have? Are you supposed to just let them out there and just let them figure it out on their?
Go first on that one.
No,
please.
I believe I mentioned a bit earlier that I believe when you put a name to something, it becomes easier. You're not putting a name so that you take an identity.
True.
Because watu wengi hapo, that's
You're
where they
putting
fall.
a name so that you can understand it.
Yeah. So even a child who is struggling, if they're in a mental capacity to understand, if they're too young, maybe 2-3 years, that's too young to introduce a big word like dyslexia. It's too big.
But you don't really necessarily have to tell them you have dyslexia.
Yeah.
You can
No,
just
you
tell
don't.
them, uko na issue.
You learn
You
at a
learn
slower
differently,
pace,
yes.
at a slower pace than the rest,
Than
but
the
it's
rest.
something that we can resolve.
Yes.
Yeah, and if maybe they are preteen teens and they're curious, what is this thing that I have? We tell them it is called this, but it does not define you. You have to be very precise, because unaweza ambia mtoto you have dyslexia, and then this kid will take it on as an identity. And then this identity
and it will be an excuse for them, like I'm not good in this because me I have dyslexia.
So how you actually
How you
introduce it to the
yes,
child
yes.
really matters, yeah? Looking at the positive, like,
And this
yes, this is it, but this is what you're going to do about it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's going to get better because you're going to do A, B, C, D about it, yeah? And looking above all that, you're also very good at this and this and this, yeah? And where you're not good, I'm ready to support you, right? Yeah.
So, thank you very much for coming to the show. And before we end our session, I'd like you where would we get your services, you know, things like that. Where can we reach you, your social media, your comments, and what.
So I'm most active on Twitter, and my handle is somewhat funny. It's Wairimu and then raps with a WRAPS.
Don't worry, we'll put it, you know, those two things that pop up at the screen are watching, so it's okay.
So, honestly speaking, I'm not very active on social media. So, if you want to reach me for advice and assessment for your child, you can reach me on my number. I'll say it: 0711 456716. 0711 456716.
Okay. Also, we'll put it on those two thingies that pop up
Yes.
under the screen.
Yes.
So, thanks a lot for staying tuned. Stay tuned on our next episode, whereby we'll get in depth, you know, with dyslexic, dyslexia, you know, all other learning disabilities. We'll still have you, and then we'll try and bring in a teacher to get their version of the story, and maybe a caregiver who's dealt with, you know, a kid who's battling
one of the learning disorders.
And then they can tell us what they've done, what they do as a parent to help the kid move, you know, cope with this thing and whatnot.
What works, what doesn't
What
work.
works, what doesn't work,
Yeah.
and whatnot. And then we'll also have you tell us the psychological implications that come with these things, and we as a community, what we need to do better.
Yes.
Right? Because I feel like raising a kid, it takes a village.
It
Not
does.
just
Sure,
the parents,
sure.
you know, it takes like the whole,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for staying tuned. See you on our next session.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye bye.